Hey, English learners, welcome to the English Podcast. Today we are going to discuss how to not waste our time. I'm Sarah, and I'm here with Mark.
Hi, everyone. It is great to be here. Sarah, this is such a big topic. Everyone feels like they don't have enough time, right?
Exactly, Mark. So let me start with a simple question for you. Do you ever feel like you are very busy all day, but at the end of the day, you feel like you didn't actually do anything important?
Oh, all the time. Sometimes I look at the clock and think, where did the last 2 hours go? I was probably just scrolling on my phone or overthinking small things.
I think many of our listeners feel the same way. The sources we are looking at today say that time is actually our most valuable asset. You can earn more money, but you can never get back a minute that is passed.
That is a bit scary to think about, but it's true. One of the sources uses a really nice image to explain this. It says time is like water in a bottle.
I like that. Tell me more.
Well, imagine you have a bottle of water. That is your time for the day. If you pour it on the floor, you can't drink it later. Wasting time on things that don't help you grow or rest is like just pouring your water on the floor.
That makes it very easy to understand. If we are not careful, we just let our water or our time disappear. One source says that most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they delay things. They keep saying, I will start tomorrow.
Tomorrow is a very dangerous word, isn't it? We say, I'll start the gym tomorrow, or I'll study English tomorrow. But then one day you look back and 10 years have passed.
Yes, the sources call this drifting. Drifting is when you wake up without a plan. You check your phone, you respond to messages, and you let other people's priorities fill your mind before your own.
It feels comfortable at first because there's no pressure, but over time it leads to feeling lost.
So, drifting is moving without a purpose. It's like being a boat in the ocean with no one steering it. You just go wherever the waves take you.
Exactly. And the opposite of drifting is living intentionally. This means you decide what is important before the world decides for you. You choose how your morning starts and what deserves your attention.
That sounds powerful, but it also sounds hard. How do we stop drifting and start being intentional?
One of the best tips from the sources is to make a tiny plan. Think of a plan like a GPS in a car. If you don't put an address in the GPS, you just drive in circles and waste petrol.
I see. So instead of saying something vague, which means not clear, like, I want to improve my English, we should have a clear, tiny goal.
Right. A tiny plan would be, today I will learn 3 new words, or today I will listen to 10 minutes of a podcast. It's a small, clear address for your day.
I have noticed that when I make my goals too big, I get scared and I don't even start. But everyone can find 10 minutes.
That brings us to another great concept, pocket time.
Pocket time? Is that like keeping time in your pocket?
In a way, yes. Think of time like coins. During the day, you have big coins like 1 hour for lunch, but you also have many small coins, 5 minutes here, 7 minutes there.
Like when I'm waiting for the bus or standing in line for coffee.
Exactly. Many people throw these coins in the trash by just scrolling through social media. But if you collect those small coins, you can build something big. You can review your new words or listen to a few minutes of English while you wash the dishes.
That is very encouraging for busy people. You don't need a whole free afternoon to make progress. You just need to use your small coins wisely.
Yes, because those small choices are like voting for your future. Every time you choose to learn instead of complaining or work instead of being lazy, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become.
I love that idea. It makes every small moment feel important. But Sarah, what about distractions? Even if I have a plan, my phone is always there, buzzing with notifications.
The sources call those time thieves. A time thief is something that steals your time without giving you anything good back. For many of us, social media is the biggest thief.
It really is. You think you'll just check one message, and then 40 minutes later, you are watching videos of people you don't even know.
And you usually don't feel happy after that. You feel tired and a little guilty. To stop these thieves, we have to protect our focus. One tip is to keep your phone in another room when you are studying or doing something important.
Like locking the door so the thief can't get in.
Exactly. It's not about hating the phone, it's about protecting your house, your mind.
You know, Sarah, another thing that wastes a lot of time for people is overthinking. We think so much about starting a business or learning a skill that we become tired before we even begin.
That is so true. One source says that thinking is important, but only for a short time. After that, it often becomes fear. The best way to beat overthinking is to just start messy.
Start messy. I like that. It means you don't have to be perfect at the beginning. If you want to learn to swim, you can't just read books about it. You have to jump into the water.
Right, you don't need to know everything to begin. You just need to take one step. One step daily is powerful, but 0 steps daily is dangerous.
So the lesson here is that action is the cure for fear and the cure for wasting time.
Yes, and we should also talk about the difference between being busy and being productive. You can be busy all day with drama, gossip, or small tasks that don't matter, and you are still wasting your life.
So we should ask ourselves, does this activity move me closer to my goals or further away?
That is a hard question we should ask ourselves often. If we continue living exactly like we are today for the next 5 years, will we be proud or disappointed?
That question really makes you stop and think. If the answer scares you, the sources say that fear is actually a good thing. It's a wake-up call, telling you that you still care about your potential.
It's a reminder that you haven't given up yet. We often choose comfort over growth because growth can feel painful or uncomfortable in the moment. Sleeping in feels good now, but building something meaningful gives you pride later.
It's that battle between the short-term pleasure and the long-term pride.
Exactly. One very interesting point the sources make is that discipline is power. Many people wait for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it.
I've heard that before. Willpower is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. If you force yourself to wake up early or study even when you're tired, you're training that muscle.
And eventually, you become the person who controls your habits instead of your habits controlling you.
This is all about taking responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame our parents, the economy, or our lack of time, but the person who wins is the one who says, I am responsible for my life.
Right. Wasting your life because someone else had an advantage is like punishing yourself for something you cannot control. We have to focus on what is in our hands, our effort, our attitude, and our discipline.
You know, I think it's also important to mention that rest is not wasting time.
Oh, that is a very important point. Some people think that to not waste time, they must work every single second.
But our minds and bodies are like a phone battery. If you never charge the battery, the phone dies. Good sleep and quiet time are how we charge ourselves so we can be more effective when we are working.
I've had times where I tried to work when I was very tired. It took me 2 hours to do something simple, but after a good sleep, I did the same work in 30 minutes.
So resting is actually a smart way to use your time. It's about balance.
Yes, balance between work, learning, fun, and rest.
We have covered so much already. The bottle of water, the tiny plan, the time thieves, and the importance of discipline over motivation. It feels like we are starting to see a map of how to take control of our days.
It really is a journey, and for our English learners, it's also about changing how they see the process of learning. They shouldn't see it as a punishment, but as an investment.
When you spend 10 minutes listening to this podcast, you are investing in your future self. You are not just spending time, you are putting it into a bank account where it grows slowly but powerfully.
And one day, people might call you lucky because you speak English so well, or because you're successful. They won't see the mornings you woke up early or the nights you said no to distractions.
They only see the outcome, but we know it's about those daily choices.
There's another thief we haven't talked much about yet, and that is comparison.
Ah, yes. Looking at other people on social media and feeling like we are behind.
The sources say that comparison steals joy and kills your momentum. We often compare our behind the scenes, all of our struggles and messy moments, with someone else's highlight reel.
That's a great phrase. A highlight reel is only the best 15 seconds of someone's day. You don't see their failures or their hard work.
Exactly. Instead of asking, why am I not there yet, we should ask, what can I do today to move one step closer? Your only real race is with yourself, trying to be better than you were yesterday.
This reminds me of the idea of picking yourself. We shouldn't wait for a teacher, a boss, or luck to choose us. We have to choose ourselves and start the work now.
Stop waiting for permission. If you want
As we were saying before, it is one thing to have a plan, but it is another thing to actually follow it. Many of us get stuck because we are waiting for the perfect time, but the sources tell us that the perfect time is a myth created by procrastination.
That is so true, Sarah. I often find myself waiting until I feel ready. But one of the sources says that feelings are liars. We don't feel like waking up early or feel like studying a difficult English lesson. If we only follow our feelings, we are like children.
Exactly. That is where we need to talk about the comfort zone. The sources describe the comfort zone as a trap. It feels relaxing to sit on the sofa and scroll through social media, but there is no growth in comfort.
I like the example they used about a seed. If a seed stays safe under the soil, it never becomes a tree. It has to break through the ground and face the wind and the sun to grow into something powerful. We are the same. We have to break through our comfort to become the best version of ourselves.
But it is hard because we have a voice in our head that says, I'll do it later. The sources are very honest about this. They say, I'll do it later is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. It usually doesn't mean later. It actually means I don't want to do it at all.
And then later becomes never. I've seen this happen with my own goals. I say I will exercise tomorrow, and suddenly a month has passed.
This brings us to a very famous story mentioned in the sources, the story of the two wolves.
Oh, I love this one. It says there are two wolves living inside your mind. One wolf is lazy, negative, and full of doubt. The other wolf is strong, brave, and hungry for growth. Sarah, do you know which one wins?
The sources say the one that wins is the one you feed. Every time you choose to scroll for hours, you are feeding the lazy wolf. But every time you choose to read a book or practice English, you are feeding the strong wolf.
So we are in a war with ourselves every day. It is the lazy you versus the ambitious you.
And the way to win that war is by training your willpower. The sources explain that willpower is like a muscle. At first, it might feel weak. You might try to put your phone away at 10 p.m. and fail. But if you keep trying every night, that muscle gets stronger.
That makes me feel better. It means we don't have to be perfect on day one. We just have to keep going to the gym for our mind.
Exactly. Another big part of not wasting our time is taking total responsibility. It is very easy to blame our situation, the economy, or our parents for why we aren't successful yet.
But the sources remind us of people like Oprah Winfrey. She was born into poverty and faced many terrible challenges, but she didn't act like a victim. She decided to build her own life. The winner is the person who says, I don't care what I didn't get, I will create something from nothing.
That is such a powerful mindset. It is called picking yourself. In the past, people waited for a boss to choose them or for luck to happen. But today, you have to pick yourself. You have to start that book, start that business, or start speaking English without waiting for anyone to say you are ready.
I think many people are afraid to pick themselves because they are afraid of looking foolish.
But the sources say something very beautiful about that. They say looking foolish for trying is much more honorable than looking smart for doing nothing.
That is a great point.
We are so worried about what other people think, but the truth is that nobody cares as much as we think they do. People are busy fighting their own battles. This is actually a great power, because if nobody is watching you that closely, you are free to fail and try again.
It takes the pressure off. You can make 100 mistakes in English, and it doesn't matter, because each mistake is just shaping you for the future. The only real failure is quitting permanently.
So if we want to stop wasting time, we have to stop thinking and start doing. Thinking too much often turns into fear.
Right, like the example of the man who wants to learn how to swim. He reads books about swimming and watches videos, but he never jumps into the water. Will he ever learn?
No, of course not. He has to get wet.
It's the same with life. You don't need to know everything to begin, you just need to begin. The sources suggest a 10-minute rule. Think for 10 minutes, then act for the next 10 hours.
That is a lot of action, but I can see how that momentum builds up. When you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving.
And we have to be ruthless with our time. This means being very strict. We have to say no to things that drain our energy, like gossip or toxic relationships.
One of the hardest parts of being intentional is that some people might call you boring or too serious because you choose to study instead of going to every party.
But the sources say those same people will later ask you how you became so successful and focused. You have to have the courage to stand out.
It's about building a life you are proud of, not a life that everyone else expects. The sources tell a story about a friend named Nick who is stuck in a job he hates because he's living for his family's expectations.
That is a prison of dreams. We have to remember that this is our life, not our parents' or society's life.
So we've talked about the internal battle and the trap of comfort, but I want to know more about how we can handle the pain and the setbacks that happen when we actually start trying.
We ended our last section talking about how we handle the pain and setbacks that happen when we actually try to change our lives. The sources tell us something very important. Growth is not a straight line. It is messy and uncomfortable.
That's a good reminder. Sometimes when we have a bad day, we think we have failed. But the sources say every setback is actually teaching you something, and every mistake is shaping you. The only real failure is quitting permanently.
Exactly. And part of that pain comes from looking at other people. We often feel bad because we see someone on social media who seems to have a perfect life, perfect English, or a perfect job.
Oh, we have to talk about that. The sources say that comparison steals joy and kills your momentum. They use a great phrase. You are comparing your behind the scenes, the messy part of your life, to someone else's highlight reel.
I love that. A highlight reel is just the best 15 seconds of someone's day. You don't see their 100 nights of crying or the 1,000 times they fell down. If a sunflower and a rose started comparing themselves, they would both forget how beautiful they are.
So the lesson is that your only real race is with yourself. You should only try to be better than you were yesterday.
Speaking of other people, we also need to be careful about who we listen to. One of the tips is don't take advice from those who haven't done it. If you want to build a house, you don't ask a man with a broken roof for advice.
That makes so much sense. If you want to speak fluent English, don't listen to the person who is too scared to even open their mouth. We have to protect our vision because one wrong piece of advice can delay our dreams for 10 years.
And that includes the people we spend time with. The sources say we should surround ourselves with people who challenge us instead of people who enable our laziness. We need to starve our distractions and feed our focus.
It goes back to that idea of the two wolves again. One wolf is your distraction, scrolling, gossiping, overthinking. The other is your focus, learning, working, growing. The one who wins is the one you feed the most.
If you give your full focus for just 1 year, 365 days of effort, your life will look completely different. That's not magic. It's just mathematics and discipline.
But Sarah, what if someone feels like they are behind, like they're too old or it's too late to start?
The sources are very clear about this. You are not too late. Every sunrise is a reminder that you have another chance, but also a reminder that chances are limited. The clock is ticking and it doesn't care if you are tired or confused.
So the question we should all ask is why not now?
Why wait until next week or next month? Nothing will magically change between now and then. If you can't start now, you probably never will.
That's the hard truth of this conversation. We have to stop waiting for permission. We have to pick ourselves, like J.K. Rowling, who was rejected 12 times before Harry Potter was published. She didn't wait for someone to believe in her. She picked herself.
It sounds like we have to become the creators of our own circumstances instead of just reacting to what happens to us.
Precisely. Instead of saying, let's see what happens, we should say, here is what I will make happen. It takes courage to say no, courage to stand out, and even courage to be misunderstood by people who don't have the same vision as you.
Before we wrap up everything we've talked about today, let's look at a few more power words from our sources to help our English learners.
Great idea. The first one is momentum. Momentum is the power you get when you keep doing something. When you take one small step today, it makes the next step easier.
The second word is substance. The sources say don't just try to look successful. Focus on becoming successful. Substance is about what is inside you, your skills and your character, not just your appearance.
And the third word is ruthless. To be ruthless with your time means to be very strict. You stop tolerating nonsense or activities that move you further away from your goals.
I think the most important thing for everyone to remember is that time is life. If we waste our time, we are wasting our life, but it is never too late to change the story.
Even if you feel like you are at rock bottom or you're struggling, you are not finished yet. Your worst days can be the beginning of a stronger, smarter version of you. You are like a storm waiting to rise.
So let's give our listeners a final plan of action based on everything we've discussed today.
Step 1, make a tiny plan for today. Just one small thing, like learning 3 new words. Step 2, use your pocket time, those 5-minute gaps while you wait for the bus or coffee. Step 3, protect your focus by putting your phone in another room.
And step 4, start messy. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect English. Just jump into the water and start swimming.
When you look back in 5 years, you want to be able to say, I gave it everything I had, instead of saying, I wish I had tried.
Every daily choice is a vote for your future. Every time you choose to learn instead of complain, you are building the person you want to become.
It has been such an inspiring conversation, Mark. I hope our listeners feel ready to take control of their bottle of water and use their time for the things that truly matter.
I hope so too. Remember, you have the power to design your life instead of just surviving it.
Start today. Start now. Your future self is waiting for you to make that first move.